right now. Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
All right, thanks a lot, Ken, and thank you for tuning in to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. I'm Rich Walsh alongside Paul Zeise, and we're taking 412-575-2600. The phone lines are open, so give us a call. Anything's on the table. Talking Buccos and the Penguins. A tough one at PPG tonight against Nashville Predators. The Predators come in here and end the Penguins' 3-game winning streak, beating the Pens 3-1. The Pens threw 22 shots in the first period at Pekka Rinne, and he was just unstoppable. He was the better goalie tonight, and he was definitely the reason the Pens are walking out of PPG with the loss. So right now the Pens are in third place in the Metropolitan Division, 4 games remaining. They're 5 points back of Washington, 2 points back of the Islanders, who are in second place. And Paul, you know, when you look at this standings right now, a lot of it can change, but it doesn't look like that the Pens can catch Washington. I mean, it's probable. It can happen. It's not impossible, but it doesn't look like that would happen.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, they've got
5 points back.
5 points back. And, you know, I think Washington has 100 points, and what do they have, 95? So they've got 4 games left.
Yeah, 4 games against the Islanders.
Say they get
play
7 out of those 8 points. Let's say they get 7 out of those 8 points, right? That puts them at 102. I'm pretty sure Washington's going to get at least 3 points out of the last 4 games. So
yeah,
I think that tonight's game probably makes it very difficult for them to they needed to get at least a point tonight, but to win the division. Now, I mean, they could still finish second and get home ice advantage against the Islanders, and ultimately they're probably going to have to beat the Capitals in the second round anyway. So what's the difference? You
know, the one thing with the Penguins situation right now, I don't mind them finishing in third place, because I'm not a big fan of home ice in the playoffs, because I think the Penguins are a good enough team. If they go on the road, they could steal one, and now all of a sudden that they have home ice. And that's what I do like about the NHL playoffs, because if you're on the road, you go to, say, the Islanders. If you win one, all of a sudden it's 1-1 and you're coming back home for the next 2 games, and now you have home ice. So I don't mind them finishing in third place. I just don't want to see them slip into 4th or 5th in those first or second wild card, because I think it would be a disaster if they finished in the second wild card spot and have to go to Tampa.
Here's why you don't want to finish third. Because of the way the Islanders play and how they play and their style. You do not want a Game 7 in Long Island. You just don't. If you're down 1-0 midway through the second period, it's a disaster. I'm telling you. You want to make sure that you have Game 7 if it happens here. I think in other series, it doesn't matter. I think they will beat the Islanders. But in case it's like the Ottawa series, you know, a couple of years ago, where Ottawa gets to the final, you know, gets to the 7th game somehow.
And in overtime.
If the Islanders are able to get to Game 7 and they have it at home, you know, I think they're the one team that probably their home ice means something to them. So I'm not saying they would beat the Penguins, but make it as easy as you possibly can, and make sure that if it doesn't go the way you think it goes, which I think they'd win it at least 6, if not 5 games, but let's say that doesn't happen, at least have Game 7 here against the Islanders. Against the Caps, I agree, it doesn't matter.
Well, the Pens have 4 games left. I think they'll probably go 3-1. The one game they do not want to lose is Sunday against Carolina. Again, all of a sudden, then that wild card spot comes into play, and you know, you want to be in those the 2 or 3 spot, I think. So I think the Islanders would be a good first-round matchup for the Penguins. You know, I wouldn't like to see them. I know they'd have to play Washington either way, but I'd rather see them play Washington in the second round than in the first. All right, the Pirates had the day off yesterday, losing this tough one in Cincinnati, 5-3. Jamison Tynan, their ace, struggled after the 6th inning, couldn't get out of the 7th inning, losing that game. Probably, maybe arguably, Paul, their most consistent pitcher last year, Trevor Williams, takes them out against Sonny Gray. It's an afternoon game in Cincinnati. Games 2 and 3 in that series are Saturday and Sunday. You know, I know it's really early, and we have 161 more games left. I mean, so a lot of things obviously can happen, but you know, I do want to see what they've been talking about all year about how this pitching staff is dominant. I would like to see that tomorrow, at least, or one of these 2 games here in Cincinnati.
I think anybody who thinks that this pitching staff was going to be dominant this year, you're probably going to be disappointed. Good, yes. Better than solid, yes. But dominant, I mean, dominant, when I think of dominant, I think of Maddox, Glavine, Smoltz, and that whole crew. I think of those kind of pitching staffs. I don't see that with this group. I see, Tyon, I think, has a chance to be one of the best pitchers in major leagues, in the major leagues. Trevor Williams, to me, I think pitched above his head a little bit, but I think he still has a chance to be, one of the more effective pitchers in the National League. Archer is a big question mark. Musgrove is a big question mark. And let's not forget that they don't even have a fifth starter right now because Jordan Lyles is hurt. So I think the bigger problem with this group is that I think that, if you watched them play yesterday, and I know it's only one game, but you're a pitching staff that doesn't really have a strikeout guys, and you've got a defense that's pretty bad. I mean, did you the rundown,
Josh Bell.
The rundown, play with Josh Bell. Unfortunately, that is sort of who this team is and who it's been defensively for the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, Bell should have never let Votto get by him, and Jamison Town should have been covering first. That should have been an out. That should have never happened. You're right. Defensively and offensively, they struggled to score runs. Luckily, they had their best hitter at the plate with a chance to tie the game or win the game, and he couldn't get it done. But that's the one guy you'd want up there. In this lineup in that position. So the one good thing that the Pirates will get Starling Marte back in tomorrow's game. He had a migraine, couldn't play. It was a late scratch. So
and there's another thing. I think he's a really good player, but he's always got something, doesn't he? Some kind of discomfort, some kind of thing. He's out for 15 games with this, and then he missed. Yeah. And then you look up and you're like, well, I mean, is the guy going to play? Does he want to play or not?
Well, they definitely need him to carry the team this year. All right, we got to take a break. Paul's carrying this program tonight, so give us a call. 412-575-2600 is the number. We could talk about the Battle and Buccos, the Penguins also. What's going on? NCAA March Madness, a couple big upsets. All that and more coming up next on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
The Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call is brought to you by Ireland Contracting, celebrating 25 years as Pittsburgh's #1 home exterior expert in roofing, siding, windows, and gutters, where honesty and integrity still matter.